Hi, I'm Victor Cantore. I'm the president and CEO of Amex Exploration. Amex Exploration is a mining developer, gold in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. We've carried out a 350,000 meter drill program so far and working towards much more.
Hi, so nice to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you too.
I really enjoyed our technical conversation that we had a few months ago. We had at that time Kelly Malcolm with us, your VPX. But here we are in London. The sun has finally come out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day today.
It's the end of the year. It's been a hell of a year. You've done a load of drilling. Been pretty tough markets. What do you want to start with, drilling or markets?
Oh, we could talk about the markets first. I think that's probably the toughest part to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, markets, they were weak for the gold markets. I'm still very positive. Gold is doing extremely well. We're still trading in $1,700 US per ounce. So that makes a lot of projects very, very positive. Having said that, from last year's high, we're trading probably at 50% lower. I think last year in 2022, I think one of our highs was up in the 320s or so. And we're trading, around $1.60 right now.
You're in good company. I mean, right across the sector, it's been a risk-off year. Most resource companies have seen those kinds of falls. 50% actually isn't that bad. I've seen, much worse, 70, 80, 90% off in a year. The conversations you're here marketing, obviously, Mines and Money. What's the kind of the tone of the conversation been? Are people saying, "Oh, thanks for keeping us updated"? Are people saying, "We'll look at you again next year"? Or is there kind of some real contact and dialogue at these price points for Amex?
Well, there's a lot of contact and dialogue. Our last financing that we did that we closed in 2022 in February, it was mostly institutional. So you have a lot of the institutions are sitting down and talking to us and just wanting to know what we've done last year, what we're doing this year, what we're going to do in 2023. So we're just going to continue drilling. We were very fortunate that we were able to raise $49.6 million in February. And
great timing. But some of those institutions here in the UK?
Absolutely.
And typically when the story doesn't change fundamentally, the reasons that they invested, if that is still intact, quite often what you see is if when the price is lower, that there's support buying. I mean, are any of them looking to average down, kind of to come in and support the price at these levels?
That's the indication they give us. They never tell you for sure because they obviously want to get in at the lowest price point possible. They wouldn't want anybody trying to front run them or whatever. But yes, they do feel that the stock is fairly undervalued right now. I mean, the fundamentals haven't gotten worse; they've actually gotten better. We added a little over 100,000 meters since we last raised the financing. So right now we're at a total of 350,000 meters.
Drilled into the Perron project.
Drilled into the Perron project by us.
Before we get onto the Perron project, let's just on the gold price. I think we have to be in the sector. You have to be kind of almost like a permanent bull because it's you're the CEO of a gold company. You have to be positive on the gold price. But can you see kind of catalysts for the gold? I mean, is there anything you're particularly looking for to drive the gold price? I mean, have you got a particular view or just generally benign?
Well, usually when there's uncertainty, everybody says they flock to gold, but in this uncertainty, they're flocking to the US dollar. And I think that's really what's been hurting gold is the price of the US dollar. I think when times are going to come back to normal, I think that's when the US dollar is going to start to back off a little bit. I think that's when we can see gold still going north of $2,000. There's many predictions out there that are looking at gold going to $2,500 and even $3,000 per ounce. But I really do believe it's been the strength of the US dollar that's been keeping the gold intact in these levels like $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 an ounce. But when we started the project, gold was, back in 2018, gold was sitting at $1,200, $1,300 an ounce. It's making the projects much more economic.
In a sense, kind of the gold price will be what it will be. You just got to carry on.
That's correct. You just carry on, build up the ounces. I think our project is really nice, considering where it's located. We're right on the edge of a town. We can drive there. You can get in a car from Montreal or Toronto. It doesn't have to be specialized. Nothing against a Honda Civic, but let's say I take a beat up Honda Civic, I can drive right to the project, and from there I can go to any of the drill sites. So there's electricity. There's the electrical plant that supplies the Casa Berardi plant of Hecla, which is about an hour away from there. There's water, electricity, cell phone. We're usually in cell phone contact with all our drillers at all times, because you're right on the edge of the city.
You're in Quebec, aren't you? And in Quebec, there are these 4 kind of greenstone belts, and you're on the second one up. Is that right?
The Abitibi greenstone belt. There's 5 deformation zones.
Okay.
So there's the 5 main ones. You have the Sunday Lake, Casa Berardi, and then there's us, which it's sometimes got a couple of different names, but it's the Shakobi deformation zone. And there used to be a VMS, a copper-rich VMS mine, which is about 4 kilometers away from us. There's going to be other VMS discoveries in the area. Our chairman always believed that there was gold enrichment in that area. The Beaupré block. At one point, Amex owned quite a bit of that belt, and he ended up just sticking where he believed that there was gold enrichment. So with a little bit of financing, we ended up finding it, and it looks like we're finding more and more.
I'm always struck by your approach not to wrap a resource around your first set of results, because you've drilled, to remind me, 350,000 meters, and yet you haven't leapt to making that resource statement. Can you just kind of unpack that a bit?
Sure. So right now we're up to 6 or 7 different zones with different mineralization. Obviously, our main one is the high grade zone, and you've got the high grade zone. You have the Denise zone, which we look like we're expanding. But now, if I go back to the high grade zone, we believe those structures. There's many of those structures along there.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But it looks like we continue the more and more as you understand the geology, the easier it will get to find these high grade zones. And we just announced the team zone. We announced I think we put out close to 20 holes right now. The majority of the holes all had visible gold. It's a little bit different than the high grade zone, but it looks like it's carrying some good gold, and it's coming with some pretty good tonnage, which will result into some good ounces.
The most recent news release on the website is from the end of September.
That's correct.
And it talks about assays coming out soon. So presumably they're coming out imminently.
That's correct. There's so even on the team zone, we've been really drilling around this team zone. We're really intrigued by it. It looks like it could be something really, really substantial, like the high grade zone. So that's something to look forward to. Is we're really looking forward to more results coming out of the team zone. So that's very imminent.
And are you pausing for winter? Are you stopping with the drill rigs? Are you closing your campaign? What does 2023 look like?
So we usually drill. It's 24/7, 365 days of the year. We stop 2 times. We stop during Christmas. That's to let the staff go home, and at the same time for us, it's a time to do compilation, to go over the results. At the highest, we had 11 drills turning. We have 5 drills turning now, and we will have 5 drills turning all the way to the end of 2023, and no need for further financing. It's all budgeted already to 5 drills turning all the way till December 2023, and I will have money left over. I will have like $7 million or close to it, of $7 million in hard dollars by then.
Fantastic. So 5 rigs to the end from, here we are, not quite to the beginning of December, so 13 months, 5 rigs.
That's right.
And you've got 350,000 meters drilled already. What will that take you to?
That should take us to about 450,000 meters, more or less. It could be a little bit more. The way it could be a little bit less. It all depends on the.
Wow.
It all depends on the success of the drilling and how deep you gotta go. Because the shallower your holes are, the more you're going to be able to drill.
It's mind-boggling. What depth are you drilling to at the moment? What are kind of your your deepest holes?
So our deepest holes are down to, I believe, 1,300 meters. So we've been concentrating less there. So the high grade zone, we are working on definition drilling also. So the high grade zone, we're going to build it out to about like a kilometer down or 1.2 kilometers. But the new zones are actually at surface, like the team zone. It's all open pittable. I think the deepest hole is down to 300 meters. It's all like you're getting mineralization starting from 40, 50 meters on. So the Denise zone also, we're going east on it. We do believe it'll extend out all the way to our border. So we're going to be doing to another kilometer to 2 kilometers. So we're just going to continue drilling. There's going to be a bunch of short holes, and the same thing with the team zone. Now we're just going to continue trying to understand that, trying to put enough holes that we can get a 3D picture of what's going on there.
It's, as I said, mind-boggling. just the numbers and the sheer scale of it. So,
well, it's mind-boggling, but again, look at the Windfall project, which is, I don't know distance. It's to the east of us, the Osisco property. They've drilled close to 2 million meters.
Yeah,
we're at 350,000 meters. So
yeah.
I'm not saying we're going to go to 2 million meters, but I'm just saying
it's a lot of drilling.
It's a lot of drilling when you want to get
Yeah, good. So, catalysts for next year. In a sense, I've felt very much this year that exploration success hasn't been rewarded in the share price. It's almost quite the opposite. Every time you put out a good result, you might get a short-term a sugar high, kind of a short-term hit.
Yeah.
But then it kind of goes back down again. You're hoping that obviously hoping that exploration results start getting traction.
Absolutely. Again, so we're fortunate that we actually have money to continue drilling. Like, imagine we had to go do a financing now at 50% lower, in some companies as much as 75, 80% lower.
Yeah.
So the markets were unstable. That causes even if gold is stable, people are looking for liquidity. I think there was just a liquidity crisis in the market that's at some point. So now going forward, I'm expecting the markets to either stabilize or get better. And as we continue putting in more holes in there, the fundamentals just continue getting better and better. So buying the shares today there's a lot more fundamentals than buying the shares 2 years ago here. So
yeah, if you liked it then, you're going to love it now.
You're going to love it now. That's exactly what that is. Yeah.
Good. Well, onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. That's where we're looking. Absolutely. I do believe that, I always say that, we're at the bottom and then we end up making new lows, but I do believe the market will start to turn and it'll enhance our stock price also. It'll reward the shareholders.
Good. Well, thank you very much for coming in. It's been a pleasure catching up. It's been a hell of a year, in some good ways and some bad ways. But let's hope it's more on the good balance side of things next year.
Well, keep looking forward to our results. We'll continue keep drilling, and there's going to be a lot of news between now and 2023. We'll just continue drilling and putting out results.
Great. Look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.